Happy Sunday, my friends. Let's go over the supplies really quick for this beautiful playful nest that we're creating today. I used a little bit of everything. I just played, and that was the whole point of this piece. So if I forget some of the things that I used, it's because I used so many things that it's hard to recall sometimes as you're creating and you're just kind of grabbing, but I think I've got everything. So I created some papers, and I'm going to go over that with the supplies after we talk about kind of the general overall supplies. I'm going to go over the paper and how I made it and that kind of thing, give you some ideas. But in general, I used, for the background, I used my brayer. I used my catalyst tool. Like I said, I just went to town. I think I used my silicone shaper brush. I used gesso. Where is my gesso? I used my gesso. I used, trying to remember all the colors. Oh, I used a little bit of some of this yellow orange light, and I think a little bit, oh, for the love, yeah, you can kind of see that yellow in the background, and then I've got some teal and some Prussian blue for background. Oh, gray. I used this warm gray in the background too. So I brayered on my gesso, and then I brayered on some color, and then I used my tools, and I just kind of made it real super messy. Then I used my catalyst tool with some raw umber and some gray for the table. And then this is Prussian blue. This is a Prussian blue mixture, but I've also got paper in here. And let's see, flowers. I used a mixture of these two with a tiny bit of pink. This dried clay gives me the best peachy pink color that I have found. I'm super happy about this mixture. I used some quinacridone magenta. This is another color that I kind of threw in there, rose pink. Like I said, I threw in a little bit of everything. Some quinacridone blue violet for the leaves and some of the background, and some of the papers I used thicket, this green, matcha green, and olive green, and I think I used some green blue deep. Yeah, there's a lot. I used a lot, I know. But I just was going to town. I was having so much fun. I was lost in the process. So that's flowers. I think I got all the colors. Oh, I did use a little bit of this permanent rose. And then I also used some, I said raw umber for the table, teal. Okay, just trying to remember all the things. I did use a little bit of spray paint. I spray painted on my collage papers, and then I also spray painted black in the background. You can see, I love it how they just peek through at the, like there's an X right here, and an M up here. It's perfect. Just what I wanted. Trying to make sure. Oh, I won't go over all the supplies that I used for the collage papers, because I'll do that next, so that we can kind of keep those separated. So I'll set that aside. And then I actually brought out my oil pastels, which I never do, which was part of the plan, is to just play. And so I need practice. I need a lot of practice, because I'm so used to my soft pastels. But I really want to explore them, and I think I need to get different ones than these ones, but anyway. And then I broke out a few other things, like a Neo color in pink and a Stabilo Woody in pink. And then I've got just a bunch of random soft pastels to kind of add some highlight in there. Of course, all my collage papers in there. I did use my extra soft General's charcoal pencil for all my scratchy lines and shading, and I used my black for shading. I used to initially kind of sketch things out my Stabilo All pencil, and then I did use my Pip pen. I had a couple of my E's went weird on me, so I kind of filled those back in. And I'm sure that I used no, I didn't use any fluid matte medium. I used matte gel. Matte gel to put my papers down. Oh, I did use fluid matte medium to put my quote down. I printed my quote on tissue paper. And I think that's it. I know there's a lot of supplies going around here, but that was the whole purpose. The whole purpose was to play and not think about anything but just grab and go and just get it down and just relax into it and be free, totally free. And that's what I did. And when I do that, I use all the things. And so I'll have a list of all the supplies on the blog, and the link to the blog will be down below in the YouTube description box. Oh, stencils. Hello, I used a ton of them. Okay, let me grab them. Okay. They're all over the place. This is what happens when I create. Okay, so I use the old type text for the background, for the letters in the background. I just kind of have a mess going on here. So I used let's see, this is the Terracotta pot stencil for my pot. And part of the reason why I use, like, I could simply draw out a pot. I could draw out my flowers. I could draw out my leaves, but it would take me more time. And I can quickly go in and just, I don't have to think about it. There's no thinking involved. And that's half of the battle sometimes, is overthinking things. And so that's why I will use my stencils. I'll stencil it out. It gives me my form and my shape right away. And then I can kind of think about more of the details. But like with my flowers, it gives me the form and the shape of my flowers right away. And I can then just accent them, and that's why I love using my stencils. This stencil was for the collage papers, so I'll go over that one in just a minute. So I've got the flower silhouette 2, daffodils, hydrangea, and then my garden 2 stencil that I used. So that is what I used for this, and those are all included in the birthday week sale. It is birthday week starting today. And so those will all be on sale for 25% off, which is really good. Biggest sale of the year. So you can grab those today. Stencils are only on sale today. So those are all the stencils that I used, and I think that's it. I think I got it all. There was a lot that I used, but I was just having fun, and that was the whole point. All right, my friends, so next I'm going to go over how I made my collage papers and why I did it the way that I did it, and then we'll put it all together. Okay, so I just want to talk real quick before we dive into actually creating about my collage papers, so that you understand like where I got them and all that kind of stuff. I won't go into creating all of them on camera. However, I want to just show you, give you an idea of what I've done. And I hope that you will experiment and try some of your own collage papers, because it's so fun and it's such a good warm-up to get the juices flowing and that kind of thing. So down here on my table, this is a great way to take old scrapbook paper that you're not using, or that you won't use, and reuse it. So I want to give you a couple examples. This red color of this scrapbook paper is just, yuck. So I just put a wash of magenta over it. And then I will make marks and different things like that with pens, with my like Arteza acrylic pens, Sharpie pens, my fine liner, and pencils, different things like that. I will make marks on it because all I need is just this tiny little bit of goodness in here to put as my collage in my actual piece. And of course I haven't created it yet. This is just how I am envisioning things going. So this all may be just a it's always subject to change. Whenever you're creating, or whenever I'm creating, I always have this great idea, and sometimes it goes just like it's supposed to go, and then sometimes it doesn't. So what I'm planning on creating is this floral, and I want to make the majority of it collage, or have accents of collage, and so that's what I'm aiming for. And then I will also, so let me just I pulled out these supplies just to kind of show you what I'd used. So here's another piece of scrapbook paper. Of course I want colors for my flowers, so I'm using a variety of different kind of pinks and soft peaches and different things like that. That's what I'm thinking. And then I also need greens for the leaves, and then I also need some other pattern blues or different things like that for my flower pot itself. Here's another piece of scrapbook paper. It's this brown kind of gingham, and it's got kind of like, there's probably nothing that I would use on the back of this. So I have painted it some green, and then I'm also going to do some blue up here for my flower pot, bluish color, I think. You could also use just regular book pages. I know that I probably want some book text in some of my flowers, but again, I've come back in and I've just made marks with my tools, my pens and Sharpie and all that kind of stuff. Then I've also taken, so this was a scrapbook paper with these cute little dots on it, and while I like the dots, it's very stark, and the dots are far apart, and so it's not, I need a small pattern to really kind of show up in my work. And so I will create my own pattern, and I'll grab several different types of stencils and stencil through it. And I'm not looking for perfection, I'm just looking for these little swatches of colors, and so you can create whatever color you want. I just took a brush and dabbed it here. I mixed up some color, some of that peachy color. And I'm wanting some variation of these kind of warm colors, pinks, peaches, oranges, different things like that, because it's going to represent highlights and lowlights. Another piece of scrapbook paper. This is actually kind of cute, and I thought about using this for my flower pot, and I still might. But the back side has got this kind of pink color, which was cool, but there was nothing on it. So again, I used, did some spray painting through a stencil, through this stencil. And then I also took, let's see, some golden high flow. Where is that in the mix of all this goodness here? Well, oh, here, right in front of me. Golden high flow, which is already really, really runny, and I just put it out on my palette and watered it down, and then kind of sprinkled it on. And so I love this, so hopefully I'll be able to use that. But I just want to show you really quick, let me kind of stick this underneath here, some of the colors that I used, so that if you want to kind of create along with those colors. I used, these are Arteza acrylic markers, raspberry red, vermilion, rose pink, and a amethyst purple. So kind of all again in that same kind of pinkish warm color family. For my greens, I used some non-typical kind of greens, and then my standard kind of go-to, my Lucas olive green, and I used some green blue deep and some thicket color, again for variation for leaves and different things like that. And then this pink and peach color. So I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. I got a lot going on my desk. I got a lot of projects going on. But over here on my palette, it is a very messy palette today because I have been working away. I want to kind of mix up this kind of peachy color because it's always kind of a hard color for me to find, and I've kind of found the right mix, I think. This is Deco Art's dried clay, and it's already kind of got that color. And I added in some of the Arteza kind of camel, and of course, and I also added a touch of this kind of rose pink. These three colors together, aren't those pretty? But even if you don't have these exact ones, there's a lot out there that you can get that are just like this. You could even do like a burnt sienna and put some gesso in it to get it a lighter color. This kind of has that kind of warm reddish color in it. So I am going to, let me try and get a clean palette here so you can see. So I'm just going to put out a little bit of that, a little bit of this camel color. This is kind of on its own a peachy color. And again, I wish I would learn to close the lids, but it's just not in me. Some of that out there, and then some of this rose pink. And then I'll just grab a, and my brush is nice and wet, and I'm going to kind of pull these colors out and get them real soupy, and then just kind of add into it. See, look at that right away. And so that, let's go to this one since it's nice and white. That's already a great color, just like that, but I want some of that pink tone in there. So I'll grab some of this pink in here and put a little bit more water on my brush. Mix that around. Look at that gorgeous color. And so, of course, I can add to it and take away from it. Look at how pretty that color is. And so that's what I do on all of my papers. I will just come back in and get my brush really wet and kind of go back over any areas. I did that on, so I'm just going to dip my brush into the water. And I put some green down here, but I could use this pink in this area here too and kind of go back over it. And it gives me that hue without taking away the design. And now I kind of have that color that I can use as a collage piece. Put a little bit more water in there and kind of just quickly, and it's not about perfection because all we're using are little tiny bits and pieces of this, and we don't want it to be real bold because it's, you know, part of a composition. But I love creating my papers this way. And so other than that, for my papers, I didn't do a whole lot of mixing. I did a lot of just straight magenta and some of that thicket green, olive green. And then I can come back in, and I like, you know, Sharpie is great in certain circumstances, but I like using my fine liner for my dots because, I'll shake this up and really get it nice and juicy. It's still not as strong and white as my fine liner, and I can really have a lot of control over my fine liner. So I can come back in and get some really white dots. So I like using my fine liner, and you could do marks with your fine liner. Just if you're trying to recreate this in some sense, remember that you're looking for small pattern. So like I will use just a bit of this, like I'll have just a section of this. And so I'm looking for little tiny snippets of pattern that I can cut and put into my collage, to my piece. And so I did all my dots here, and then I came back and stenciled with white. And you can, you know, of course, vary your colors and different things like that. But I think that's the only color that I actually really mixed. And so this, I have kind of found this to be the right color combination, which I'm super happy about because I've been struggling to find this kind of peachy pink color, kind of soft, really soft and soothing. So let me think, is there anything else that I need to tell you for the papers? I don't think so. So it's a good way to use your ugly collage, ugly scrapbook papers, even if the color is not like exactly right, like the red, like this red. That's really kind of a icky red, but when I put that wash over it, look how beautiful that looks. So think about that as you're digging through your papers. This is a great way to use them and make them work for your projects, any project. So I wanted to show you that before I dive in creating. All right, let's go. All right, my friends, that was so much fun. This was just playtime, which is exactly what I wanted it to be. And I just love how it turned out. I love the grunginess. The background was so much fun playing with my brayer and the papers and just all the things that went into it. I had fun experimenting with all different kinds of things. And that was the whole purpose of this. All the stencils will be on sale. I didn't use any collage packs this, but I did use a lot of stencils, so those will all be on. Let's see. Let me see. Let me take that back. The stencils will not be on sale. The only reason they will not be on sale is because when you see this, it's the start of birthday week. And so all the stencils will be on sale, like 25% off, which is larger than any time of the year. So, yeah, I forgot about that. I always film everything like way ahead of time. So by the time you see this, it'll be birthday week celebration, and it starts today, Sunday, the 8th. Yes, right. Anyway, so what else about this? I went over the papers at the beginning, and supplies and everything. So it's just so fun. It's playful, it's colorful, it feels good. It felt good, and that's exactly what I needed. So just as a reminder, each day, so starting today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, there'll be new things on sale. There will be new giveaways each day, like freebies. It's first come, first serve. That's just kind of how it goes. You have to maybe get up early because they'll go live at like 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time if you want to try and get them. I just haven't found a better way to do it than that. So, but there'll be some other giveaways and just a fun time. You can get in and get some goodies. Workshops will be 40% off. Sorry, 40% off on all workshops. That'll be all throughout the week, and I'll have a schedule down below in the YouTube description box, or on the blog, I should say, of all the events that are happening each day. And then the place where you can go to get the freebies and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I hope that you are able to celebrate with me another year around the sun, and you're able to get some good things and get some workshops or stencils or wood panels or prints. Great. This is always the time where so many of you get your Christmas presents and stuff like that, prints on wood and all that kind of stuff, prints to be framed. So yeah, I hope you take advantage of the sale. It's the biggest sale of the year, so it's always so much fun. And I'll have some announcements throughout the week too, just to kind of remind you of what's coming on Instagram and Facebook. Okay, I think that is all that I need to tell you. I think that's it. So this piece says, things that matter: love, creativity, playful authenticity, and inner freedom. Those are the things that I have been pondering over the last little bit. And it kind of came to like, it all kind of bubbled up this last week. I had a chance to kind of get away, and we celebrated family wedding, and we spent great time with our nieces and nephews, and that we haven't seen in forever. And over the last, you know, 3 months since everything has kind of opened up, we've sure taken advantage of it and been able to see our kids, which we hadn't seen in over a year and a half. And so we've been doing that and just trying to be together with our people. But there's always there's this like little bit of heaviness with me, and I couldn't quite figure it out. And kind of thought about it as I was like, where I was going with this piece and what I needed for this week. And I needed that. I need that freedom. Like when we were traveling, it was like it felt not normal. Like, you know, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like being locked down for so long and being separated, that now being together, it doesn't feel normal. And there's this sense of somewhat like dread, like, are things really okay? And I really need to feel this sense of playfulness, this sense of freedom, this sense of inner peace, because it's been so, like, during the pandemic, you know, just even going out to get groceries, to me, and this is my personality type too, I was very mindful about every single thing that I did. You know, you made sure you had hand sanitizer, you made sure you had your mask, you made sure you stayed away, you made sure you went during times that it wasn't crowded, or, you know, you tried to do all the right things. And it just was like a constant, like, all the things that you need to do, and just trying to be safe and run a business during all of that, and have employees and not have employees and all those kinds of things. And now that we're back to normal, it still doesn't feel quite right, and I'm missing this sense of freedom and this sense of playfulness, and you know, still careful as we go and do things and all that kind of stuff, but I can kind of have that inner playfulness, that inner freedom, that whatever it is for me that will make me feel that again. And so that's what this piece was all about. I tried all the things. I tried oil pastels. I used all different kinds of paints and colors, and I made my papers fun. I made my flowers fun. I just did it kind of all different. The background was fun. I spray painted and I used my brayer. I tried to create like a child. I tried to be playful and like, oh, what about this? What about that? And just try it all. And really, honestly, that's how we should probably create every time. But sometimes we go in so focused, or I go in so focused, to try and make something look perfect that we forget that playfulness. And for me right now, I need that overall feeling of like this inner like peace, this inner playfulness, a chance to just let go, like freedom, free. And I just really, I kind of came to that, you know, this week, like, oh man, I need that. I need that more in my life. Because it affects everything. It affects my creativity. It affects my, that playful authenticity of our knowing ourselves. It affects this inner freedom, you know, that all of that freedom that to just play and be without worry. I really need that. And so I'm working on that. And while things aren't completely back to normal, they're getting there. We'll see. And see, there's that kind of like, I don't feel like I can trust anything. And I miss that. I miss that freedom. And so I'm working on that in my own safety space and in my own heart and in my own soul. That I love that playful authenticity. I miss that. Just a sense of freedom. And so that's really honestly what this piece was all about. And I don't know if you guys are feeling that at all or not. But I want to explore and do things, and I still feel a little anxious. And I'm an anxious person anyway, so I'm sure my husband doesn't feel that at all. But I do, and I need to feel that playfulness within my soul again, and that bit of freedom. And so I'm working on it. And I will continue to work on it because it really does affect my creativity. It affects my ideas and all those kinds of things. And so I needed this playtime and this just trying all the things and working out colors and doing papers, dots, and just childlike kind of creative play. And so I definitely needed that this week. And maybe you need that too. And so maybe you can create your own playful authenticity and find your own inner freedom, and create something fun for you this week. Maybe. All right, my loves, that is all I have for you today. Check out the sale. The links will be on the blog, and the link to the blog is down below in the YouTube description box, along with all the supplies and everything. So, all right, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful, playful, free-filled, childlike week. And I hope that you always, always know that you are loved.